It is a comprehensive first-time condo buyer guide for Waterloo region. In this guide, we will discuss everything in detail, each and every process, what things need to be taken care of, what things need to be avoided, what to look into the condo, what not to look into the condo. And after this, you'll be so confident in your condo buying journey. Now, my name is Parth. I'm a local realtor based in Waterloo region. I help first-time home buyer, move-up buyer, and investors to secure their first property. If you are someone looking to connect with me, there is a link in the description. Book a one-on-one call with me and happy to assist you. Now, there are a few other things which we need to take care of before starting the condo buying process. The very first one, it's a pre-approval, choosing with the right mortgage agent, choosing a realtor to work with, and decide a lawyer to go with, especially in a condo, which is very important to decide a lawyer beforehand, and we will discuss it why. Now, if you don't have any of this and looking to connect with my trusted partner, give me a call or email me. I would happy to connect them with you. It will be a long video, so at any point of time, if you want to skip something, feel free to do that. There will be a time step at the bottom, so you can skip if you know something about it. If you find any value out of this video, the only thing I ask is to subscribe and like and give that thumbs up button. That will help to boost my algorithm and keep this channel growing. Now, for the purpose of this video, I have divided it into three sections. The very first one is understanding the condo and the condo market. The second one is what needs to be taken place before seeing a house or condo properties. The third one is the actual showing and writing up an offer and what happens after that. Now, the very first factor we have is a pre-construction or resale properties. Now, before you start looking at a condo, it is essential to determine whether you are looking for a pre-construction or a resale properties. What I mean by that is pre-construction is something which is not built yet. You'll be buying something off a blueprint, floor plan, brochures. It could take roughly about 4 to 6 years depending on the project to project and the size of the project. The other thing is the resale properties that is readily available in the market, selling by some owner or someone else. So that is something you can touch, feel, see the layout in person, see the surrounding in person, and determine whether it's a right fit for you or not. Now, just a disclaimer, the pre-construction properties over here in Kitchener are priced above the resale values for the future value of the price. So what I mean by that is, let's say a resale property is costing you roughly about anywhere between $600 to $700 a square feet. The pre-construction might be in a range of about $1,000 a square feet. So it's higher because it's based on the future value of that project, which you will get roughly in about 4 to 6 years, depending on the project. So when you buy a pre-construction project, there are certain fees associated with it. What I mean by that is like the development charges, levies, taxes, and certain more admin charges and things like that. So before going into pre-construction project, make sure you know about all these charges or work with a realtor who know about it. So at the end of the day, you don't come with any surprise. Now, the next one in this is the areas to consider and the price point, which is very important when it comes to condo market. So let me share my screen and go ahead and see what's happening. So if you see over here, for the purpose of this video, I have done what happened in last 90 days. So it's a Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. You will see a few clusters over here. So this is Kitchener downtown. When I zoom in over here, you'll see this is the majority of the downtown, and this is where majority of the sales happens in the condo market. The other cluster is Waterloo uptown. So Waterloo don't have any downtown. It's called Waterloo uptown. This is where the another majority of the cluster is. And there are few here and there. You'll find few condos here and there. So this is in Laurelwood, Reflection condos, really nice. Someone looking for a family with really nice schools. That's the only condo as of right now available down there, condo apartment. There is another one which I really like is over here. It's a Blackstone condo. Again, a few cluster over here. Now let's look at the price point and the kind of areas you can consider. So in terms of areas you can consider, most of the clients I work with for condos, they need a GO station nearby. So this could be your best bet in a Kitchener downtown. This is where the GO station is. Depending on the condo you choose, it could be roughly about 10 to 20 minute walk from your condo. So, and the other cluster over here is Waterloo uptown, which is a little bit premium on a pricing side. The other thing which I really like over here is the Station Park condo that is right across Google office. Really nice condo down there, new build. Adjacent to it, it's a Bright condo. Again, a new build condo, good layout. So let's check out few of the price point over here. Now, all the green marks that you are seeing, it's still active. And yes, the condo inventory over here in Kishna Waterloo as of June, it's roughly about 6 months of inventory, which is high. So we are in a typical buyer market for a condo. So if you are someone looking for a condo, you can have a little bit of upper end depending on the type of the product that you are going for. So all the greens are active. All the reds there, sorry, all the orange you are seeing, it's the pending, and all the red are closed. So this is from the last 90 days, nothing more, nothing new. So you see over here 60 Charles is Charlie West, right across Victoria Park, really nice location, 19th floor, 726 square feet, sold for $435,000 for 1 bed and 1 bath. So if you're someone who are in this price range, there are multiple options available to you. The other thing you have to consider when coming to a condo is like what kind of age that you are looking for. Like in downtown specifically, you will find mostly newer buildings between roughly made after 2018s and newer one. If you're looking for older buildings, there are still available in downtown, which does provide a good layout, but most of the older building, it's like scattered around the region. The other pocket which I like for families is over here in Pioneer, which is a really nice pocket to be in. Yep. So Pioneer Park, again, if you have a budget of 300,000 or 350, this could be a nice pocket to be in, closer to highway, decent schools, closer to so many parks, so good for families and families with kids basically. So as of June 2024, to give you a general idea about the condo market pricing, if you are someone who's looking for 1 bedroom, expect in a range of, for a newer building, expect in a range of $400,000 to $420,000. For 2 bedroom, it can vary because there are so many 2 bedrooms available, which varies in size so much. One of our clients recently bought for 690 square feet for 2 bedroom. There are other 2 bedrooms are also available for 1200 square feet. So it varies so much, but expect something in a range of about $480,000 at bare minimum for 2 bedroom, and then it goes higher depending on what kind of project, how new the building is, condo fees, amenities, and every other thing. If you are someone who's looking for an older project, like roughly about 15 to 20-year-old or a little bit older than that, with a good size layout, expect something in a range of, for 1 bedroom, $350,000 to $380,000. Of course, the condo fees would be the higher, but the floor plan would be really big. That might suit a few people as well. Now, the next topic is new versus old. Now, this is very subjective. For some people, 5-year-old property might be very old, and for some, it could be a newer property. So for the reference of this video, I would consider anything between 0 to 5 years of age, it's a new property, and anything after that, it's an older property. Now, there are tons of condos available in Kishna, Waterloo, and Cambridge that range from like a brand new condo to up to 40-year-old as well, and higher than that. Depending on your lifestyle, you can choose between new and older property, and here are the few things you can determine how to choose. Now, if you're looking for a more square feet, a good size layout, and really mature neighborhood, then older properties might make sense for you, because right now what we are seeing is all the new condos that are being built are roughly very tight. It's called as a box condos. Very tight, of course, comes with a really nice amenities, but the square feet of that building or the square feet of that unit is very low compared to the older building. The other thing is like the school district you need to consider for looking for a condo. So some of the newer condos that are especially in downtown might not have that great of a school district. So your ultimate point would be to go for an older kind of a building. Now, when looking for a condo, also look for like not that old, not that new, where you can find a sweet spot between those two factors, where you can get a pretty much a decent layout, decent square feet with a decent amenities and a good school district. And also at that point of time, you are not overpaying that much. Of course, the condo fees would be on a higher end because of the square feet. And yeah, that's pretty much it when comparing with new versus old. The other thing many people want is like flashy things. Like new condos do come with, like, it's pretty standard nowadays. It comes with a granite or a quartz countertop, really nice cabinetries, decent flooring, and floor to height, floor to wall, floor to top glass ceiling. So if you're looking for something like that, your option would be very limited with the newer options in terms of newer category only. If you're looking for more square feet, then older are the one to go. Now, when you are considering condos, you will most likely have two options. The one is a high-rise typical glass building you see everywhere in downtown core. The other one is a loft style. In loft style, we have two kind of lofts. One is hard loft and one is soft loft. Hard loft is something which is a purpose-built building for something else, and now it's converted into a residential project. Soft loft is a newer building which looks like or given a look of a hard loft. So that are the main two difference. Now, for most of the people, if you are living in downtown, most of the time it will be a mixture of high-rise building and a hard loft, because in downtown we used to have so many industries before, and now they are converted into residential projects. Like, just to name a few, in Kitchener downtown you will see Kaufman Loft right across One Victoria. So One Victoria would be considered as a high-rise condominium building, whereas the Kaufman Loft is a hard loft in the heart of the downtown. The other one are Seagram Loft, Mansion Loft. There are a few lofts over here, which is like a purpose, not a purpose build, but now converted into residential projects. The good thing about loft style is that most of the unit you will see in that, it's not standard. Some units might have a really tall ceiling, the layout would be different than the other, so it's a very unique in itself. Sometimes you will see exposed brick, exposed concrete going around, and the other thing is a soft loft, where it's a newer building given the look of the hard loft. Now, it totally depends what kind of lifestyle suits you, and based on that, when we do a bar consult, we determine whether a high-rise makes sense for you or a loft style building makes sense for you. So just do your research that what kind of lifestyle you want to fit in, and we can work accordingly. Now let's discuss condo fees, which is very crucial when you are looking for a condo. Most of the time clients want to restrict themselves with a certain amount of condo fees, but you need to understand that condo fees, it's depend on project to project, condo to condo. It also depends what are the things and amenities are included in that building. So just to give you an idea, overall, if you are seeing a condo building which does includes all the utilities, does have good amenities, the condo fees would be on a higher level compared to something which does not provide that. And it also depends on the type of the building and also the age of the building. It's very typical, the older the building, the higher the condo fees would be, and the newer the building, the lower the condo fees would be. But just check with your realtor what does that condo fees include. That will give you a really good idea that why you are paying that substantial amount of condo fees or why you are paying that low of a condo fees. Most of the time what we see is that a typical condo fees include a building maintenance, building insurance, surrounding landscape, and the building upkeep. It's essentially anything that outside of the units it's taken care by the condo fees. Sometimes it does include utilities as well, like heat, hydro, Wi-Fi as well. Newer buildings are coming with Wi-Fi. The older buildings might not have that. Older buildings does come with utilities included in that, so that's why it might have a higher condo fees. So just check with your realtor. If you're paying like 50, 60, 70, 80 or $100 more on that condo fees, if it's included the utilities, it might be worthwhile to go for those kind of units. The other thing to consider is, like, as your condo fees increases, your capacity to buy that particular condo goes down. What I mean by that is, so to give you an example, if you're pre-approved for 500,000 condos with $400 condo fees, now if you are purchasing a condo which does have a condo fees of $700 a month, then your capability or your capacity to get the loan will decrease. It will no longer be 500,000. It might go down like 490, 480 depending on the math. So just check with your mortgage agent as well before putting an offer, and a good realtor will help you out with this one. One more important thing to consider into the condo fees, like if you're going for an older building, ask your realtor or representative to get the data from the previous scenario. Let's say if you're buying a 2003 built condo right now in 2024, so see if possible that what were the condo fees in 2020, what were the condo fees in 2015, and most likely your realtor would be able to help you out with this one to get a little bit of a ballpark, so you can expect what would be the jump in the condo fees. The other thing to look for the condo fees is like in the financial document. When you get the status certificate, there are a bunch of other documents that comes with it. So most likely it will be mentioned into the financials that in the given year, what will be the condo fee or the increase in the condo fee. So you will get a really good idea. Hey, in 2026, if it's a 10% increase or a normal 2 or 3% inflation increase. So that's a really good point to note it down. And when working or looking for a condo, make sure you ask your realtor about that. The other factor is the condo or the building amenities. Most of the time when I do the showing and the clients see fancy amenities included in the building, like a really nice gym, bowling station and stuff like that, they're really interested in that kind of condos. But the good thing to ask yourself is that how often do you use all that amenities? Let me give you an example. Like if the condo comes with a sauna, gym and everything, like a swimming pool, so definitely if it includes more amenities, the condo fees would be on a higher side. But the question you have to ask yourself that how often do you use that gym? How often do you use that swimming pool? Because most of the time, not many of my clients use that swimming pool quite often. It's like hardly once or twice a year. And then don't go for those kind of condos where you end up paying a condo fees more and you're not using any of that amenities. Just remember, the more amenities you have, the more condo fees the condo management will charge you more fees, and it's a highly likely good chances that over a period of time the condo fees increases because of the number of amenities and the upkeep of that amenities. Now there are some amenities which are really handy, like a gym or a dog wash station or a car wash and stuff like that, concierge services as well. So just focus on, so my recommendation is, in my opinion, is like focus on the unit first, location first, and amenities should be on the third or fourth. But if you're someone who are like very fascinated by the amenities, by all means you are buying condo for yourself and go for it. But my focus would be focusing on the unit and then amenities. Now this is very important. Now wow factor could be anything like a layout, a really amazing layout which does not provide any alleyway or anything. It's like a really open concept, floor to ceiling glass doors and wraparound balconies or amazing amenities or an excellent views. So these are all considered as a wow factor. Now it's very important that if you're able or capable to do that, go for a kind of a condo or a unit does provide at least one of it. Because what will happen in a very typical condo market when the inventory is higher, and if you have at least one of the wow factor rather than having a cookie cutter condo like a box condo, it will be very likely your unit will sell at a very premium. Of course you will end up paying premium for it, but at least you will be able to enjoy it, and when you sell it you will get a premium for that as well. And it also increases your chances of competing with other condos is very less, because the other condos might not have those kind of wow factors. So always look for those kind of wow factors, and if possible go for it. So just to give you an idea, right now the inventory is 6 months, and if your condo has some sort of a wow factor, it would be very easy to move that condo or sell that condo compared to the other condos. If you are still watching over here, then thank you so much, and if you have any questions, book a one-on-one call with me. That will be a very first link in the description, and happy to help you out. Now let's move on to the next part. What things need to be taken care from your side or from your representative side in order to start or before seeing the houses. Now in this section we will talk a little bit more about financials, and before seeing the condos, what needs to be taken care from your side or from your representative side. The very first thing you need to do is like to connect with a mortgage agent and get a pre-approval. This will determine a baseline, what kind of price point we are working with, and this will also help you and your realtor to come up with a strategy and game plan in order to tackle the market. Now, once you have a pre-approval, you determine the baseline, what price point you want to go with. The second option or the second thing that you need to take care is of the deposit. Now typically what we see over here in a condo market for a one bedroom, anywhere between 15,000 to 25,000 for a deposit. Now make sure when you do put an offer, regardless it's a firm or conditional, you need to have that deposit ready within 24 hours. So if you're putting an offer today, if it get accepted today, the very next day or later today, you need to have that deposit ready. It should not be tied up in your RRSP or any other account. It has to be in your saving account or where you can access it within 24 hours. The second thing you need to understand is the down payment. This is a part of a pre-approval or pre-qualification process. Your mortgage agent will let you know what is the down payment or the total amount that you will be owed at the closing of the condos. Another thing to consider in this one is the closing cost. The closing cost is in a top of down payment. Closing costs consist of three things. The very first one is the land transfer tax, which is the majority portion of the closing cost. And if you're a first-time home buyer, you will get $4,000 rebate in that. The second portion of the closing cost is the lawyer fees. It could range anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 depending on the lawyer choose to work with. And the third part of the closing cost is the adjustment. It's a fair thing, like if you buy a condo from me and I've already paid property tax for the rest of the year, then you owe that at the time of the adjustment, or anything that is paid by the previous owner for a full year and that you will be using for the rest or remainder of the year, you owe them back. That's pretty much it. Now the next step in this one is to hire a lawyer or select a lawyer. It is very important because when you're putting an offer in a condo, there is something called status certificate, which we discuss later on this part. Now that is something a lawyer can only review it. Over a period of year, I preview multiple status certificates, but I'm not a qualified person to answer that. I can still give you an idea what good and bad, but still a lawyer would be the authority. That is something you need help with for status certificates. So it's very crucial in a condo buying process to have a lawyer beforehand, because sometimes it will happen is like we will have status certificate available before putting an offer, and I firmly believe to get it reviewed before putting an offer rather than having a condition of status certificate. The next part in this one is to start working with a realtor. Now how you choose a realtor, I have make a video over here where you can see top 10 questions to ask a realtor. Another thing I would emphasize is to start working with a local realtor rather than someone outside of the city, because especially for condo, there are so many things happening at once. So a local realtor might be able to give you a good insight rather than someone who is outside of the city. And also they can also help you why that condo is good, what is the location nearby, what are the amenities nearby, not only itself for a condos but surrounding as well. They can help you with that. Now you are very much educated. The next step is the fun part where you actually see the condos, write an offer, and that's the fun part. So let's check that out. Now let's discuss about seeing the condos. Now when it comes to seeing a condos, there are three kind of ownership. One is vacant, one is owner occupied, and one is tenant occupied. Now you need to remember that when it's vacant, it's much likely that you can go, the time is not an issue. But when it's tenant occupied, you need to have minimum of 24-hour notice. So make sure you work around that schedule and your realtors know about it. Now typically when you're seeing a condo, how I like to structure for my client is we see and knock out 4 or 5 condos at a time, no more than that, because you might not be able to remember it. If it's in the same building, we just see 1 or 2 condos to give you a little bit good idea about the layout and the different kind of units available in that building. And most of the time you will be working in a kind of a cluster where I showed in the previously, like if you're looking in a downtown, it will be you park your cars at one place and just walk around for condos, and your realtor will be able to help you out to structure all the showings of this one. Now one thing to remember for possession, if you're looking for a tenanted property, it will be highly likely that the possession of that condo would be 60 to 80 days after your deal got accepted, and for vacant property it's most likely within 30 days. So make sure before going into a condo that what is the possession date of that particular condo and it matches with your timeline. The reason why I bring this up, because right now as I mentioned, the inventory is quite high, so you might be able to negotiate the closing date, but in a really hot market you might have to adjust your closing date according to what seller is looking for. Now you see a property, you like that house and you want to move ahead with the offer. Before that, make sure you got your status certificate reviewed if you have it available. If not, make sure to put a condition of status review in the offer. There are a few other conditions you can also put in the offer, but status review is like the very important condition when it comes to a condo. Now let's see what is status certificate. Status certificate is like it's a one document. It comes with a bunch of documents like financial declaration, all the bylaws, rules relating to the condos as well. So what is included in the status certificate? Status certificate will typically includes whether that particular unit owner is in a due of any charges or not, whether they are paying their condo fees on time, how many units of that particular building is leased compared to owner occupied, what is the financial of that building, are there any legal case going on in the building. So it's basically essentially give you so much idea about that building before putting an offer. And as I mentioned, I personally highly recommend to get it reviewed before putting an offer, and rather than if you have the status certificate available, rather than putting an offer and having the status certificate reviewed and later on you find there are some red flags and you just have to move back out from that deal. Now the next step is you like the condo, you got the status certificate reviewed from the lawyer and everything is good. Now you want to put an offer on that one. Now when you're putting an offer, there are two kinds of offers. The one is firm offer and the other one is conditional offer. Firm means you see that condo, everything as is, and you're buying that condo firm, no conditions in that. The second thing is the conditional offer. You can put a status certificate review, you can put an inspection, you can put a finance. What I typically see most of the time over here in Kitchener is like a status certificate and a finance condition in a condo project. Most of the time you will not likely see an inspection condition, but highly recommended if you're going for a little bit of older building. Even for newer project, if possible, put an inspection condition. But most of the time what happens is like you will be end up paying condo fees, so majority of the portion is covered under the condo fees if there is a fault or anything like that. But it's always a good idea to get an inspection done in a condo as well. Now when you put an offer, there is something called irrevocable. What I mean by that is, let's say you see a condo this afternoon, you are putting an offer in the evening, then that offer has to have a certain things which is called irrevocable, which means you are giving that time to the seller to take a decision, and during that irrevocable period you will not be able to put an offer anywhere else or move out from that deal. So make sure you know about this thing and ask your realtor if you don't know, and most likely your realtor will help you out with this one and will be able to guide you how to put an irrevocable, what time, based on the market conditions. Now, when you put an offer, there are highly likely three outcomes. The very first one is like your offer get accepted as is, so no negotiations, nothing. The second one is your offer get rejected. They didn't like the price, they didn't like the condition, and they just reject straight off. The third option is the counter offer. Let's say you put an offer of $400,000 and seller is looking for $420,000, then they might counter you for $420,000. Now again, you don't have to accept it. You can counter back for $410,000 or $405,000 or whatever you're looking for, but these are the typical three options you have once you put an offer. Now the next step is you put an offer, your offer get accepted, congratulations on that. Now from here onward things will be quiet. Typically depending on the closing day, let's say you have a 30-day closing period, so from offer get accepted to closing day you will not hear much of activity from the realtor side. You will have a walkthroughs, that is like depending on the offer and the contract, there will be a typically how I put is like a 3 walkthrough for condo. 2 will be like a regular walkthrough where you can bring your family, friend, contractors, of course with the permission of the seller, took some measurement for furniture, curtains and things like that. And the last walkthrough will be a final walkthrough that will be a day before closing or on the morning of the closing, where we check out, we have a checklist where we go and see everything as promised is in the condo and nothing is broken. If there is something, there's something called holdback. Your lawyer will help you out with this one. They will hold back certain amount of money until that thing get fixed, repaired or replaced from the seller, or you will have that reduction in the price. Most of the time how it goes is like you will have a meeting with the lawyer a week before closing or a week of closing, and in that they will give you what will be the final cost, which will include your down payment, closing cost and everything, and you have to make a draft of that and submit it to the lawyer and just wait for the closing date. On a closing date, typically over here you will get your keys in the afternoon, anywhere between 2 to 5 p.m. So just make sure your morning of the closing day will be like very normal. You don't hear anything from the lawyer. It will be only in the afternoon. Hope you find some value out of this video, and if you like this video, please do subscribe and like this video. And also, if you're planning to buy, sell, or anything in general, or if you already bought a pre-con project and want to chat about it in general, do book a one-on-one call with me, and happy to answer all your questions. Take care.